Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Marvel Legends Uncanny X-Men Retro Carded Apocalypse, a figure that I was very excited for, and I personally really enjoy this figure. As a reviewer, there's a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about the good and the bad. There's plenty of both though, so let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Before I get rid of the packaging, I want to do a quick comparison. I wish his colors were closer to that. I know the old toy, or at least I'm pretty sure the old toy was closer to this. What the heck? You see that? I just noticed that. This part of my A is all scuffed up. I don't like that at all. Anyway, it's got the paler colors. I definitely would have preferred the darker colors. I'm pretty sure there was an old toy that looked like that too, so I would have preferred that. But take a mental note of this because I'm going to be referencing it and I might not bring it back because it's a giant package. It's very big. And I do like big packages, but in this case it's in the way. So let's get that out of the way. Okay, so this guy stands. He's got some size to him. About 8 inches, just over, maybe 8 1/8. And that's going to make him pretty close to 20.5 centimeters. For a quick size comparison, we will compare him against the quintessential Marvel Legends figure. So he's got some size for sure, but you're paying for it, so it's not really that impressive. And we do have a lot of reused parts here. There are some new ones, of course, but a lot of reused parts. I don't mind that. I think that's okay. Before we get into the rest of the review, let's do a quick question of the day. Which version of Apocalypse is your favorite? For me, it is just the classic looking Apocalypse. I really like this one, and I'm fine with it as far as character designs go. As far as figures go, I think there's a little bit to be desired. Me as a fan, I'm pretty pleased with it. Like, I enjoy having it, but as a reviewer, there's a lot to talk about, so we're going to get into that. Now, aesthetically speaking, it's a lot of molded plastic. The boots are molded in PVC, and they are very rough. I shouldn't say very rough. They're very rough compared to what they could be. Like, you can see how smooth and shiny these parts are. This is not just a matte finish. It has a little bit of like a super fine texture to it, almost like they had a powder in the mold. It's weird. We don't almost ever see that from Marvel Legends, so it's pretty strange. I kind of like the matte. I mean, I'd love a matte finish. This might be a little bit too much without having any paint on it. It looks kind of cheap, but I do like that. So all the purple parts that are molded, these guys, arms and legs basically, and hands, those are slightly shiny. This part I believe is molded also, but it's in a different plastic. Still pretty shiny, matches pretty well. If you're okay with the shiny on this guy, then that's a good thing. It's reasonable for Apocalypse to be shiny, so that's alright. This blue is painted, it's super flat. I like that a whole bunch, except nothing else matches it. This and this, these are molded in PVC, and so are these, but these, at least the shins are, like I said, very strange. The boot part, the bottom part, closer to this in finish. It just seems very cheap and unfinished because of the lack of paint. It's really minimal. It's only where it's absolutely necessary. There's no wash, no shading anywhere, except for the head. So that's a little bit of a bummer. As far as sculpt goes, like, yeah, it could definitely be sculpted a little bit more detailed, I guess. Instead of just having flat lines right here, you could have his abs with the lines. I guess I will grab the package again. Grabbing a lot of packages these days. Never put them close enough. So yeah, like if you look at here, camera, do your thing. There we go. You can see he's got the abs and the lines sculpted there, so that would be nice. And he's got just more of a dynamic proportioning. This guy's a little blocky. I guess I'll do a Photoshop. You guys like that. I do think that for Apocalypse, this is an okay look. I don't mind it. I'll tweak a few things in Photoshop to make him look a little bit more the way I would prefer. You guys can let me know if you think that looks good or not, but all in all, it looks pretty good. The weirdest thing I think is that he's got super heavy veins on his biceps and nowhere else. Like, right there and right there. Those are very heavy. Then on the inside of the arm, when I say bicep for an action figure, unless I'm talking specifically about anatomy, I mean the whole upper arm chunk. He's got really heavy veins in there too. It's really weird looking considering he's got like a semi-robotic, slight, like armored up suit, so I don't quite care for that. But it looks okay at first glance. I definitely think less of a plastic look would be ideal, but it's okay. And as a collector, I don't mind that much, but some paint would have gone a long way. Now for the head, they generally did a pretty good job with it. I wouldn't have minded if his ears were like farther out. Like the sides of his head seem pinched in just a little bit. Just bring that out a little, that would look cool. But the overall face sculpt work is pretty good, other than he's got a severe underbite which is a little strange because just because you're making a mean face doesn't mean you all of a sudden have an underbite. And it's like a bad one, so I don't care for that. And I don't care that they care for the fact that they made the top part of the head a separate piece. And so this part of his forehead that's like up between those points has like a blue line cutting it off. And it's even worse on this head. I hate that. It really detracts from the look of the figure. But all in all, I think the head looks pretty good, and the tampography, the paint job on there is pretty nice, so I'll take it. But yeah, like the face is super detailed, and then the body is super plastic looking. So I feel like some kind of balance needs to be struck. The tubers, for instance, so cheap looking. At least throw a wash on it. Like, it's the crappiest gray looking plastic there is. It's like, there's nothing quality about it. At least throw a wash on it, that'll bring it to life. But the whole figure just feels cheap and uninspired. And mine being messed up here really bothers me. So, that sucks. But aesthetically speaking, it's okay. I'll give it a 7. For Marvel Legends, it's not impressive. If all of it was painted like the head, then sure. But it's not. It's just a whole bunch of blue and purple plastic with weird finishes that don't really match. It's just strange. It's not bad, it's not good, it's just weird. And kind of bad. Okay, so let's talk about the accessories. We have the angry head that comes on him in the package. Then we have the regular frowny head. I quite like that one. It looks pretty good. We have the open hands that come on him in the package. Then we have fist hands, so that's a good thing. Then we do have the alternate forearm piece, which looks like the back of some kind of spaceship. And it's got 4 peg holes in it, and you get 3 blast effects. One big one, it can go on either the top or the bottom. And then 2 little ones, which can go on either side. And of course, it does have a port, so you can connect his tuber there, and so that is an accessory you get, and that is it. So I'll go 7 out of 10 for accessories. It's not bad. It's okay. I think some alternate hands maybe. Other hands would have been cool, but this is okay. Now, for the articulation, we have seen a lot of this before, but we'll do it again just in case you haven't seen it. We have our standard Marvel Legends neck, so he can look up that far. He can look down pretty far, but it's in his collar, so that kind of blows. Not much they could do about that. Rotating the head, you can get some out of it without the collar getting in the way, and I think that's good enough. Like, you don't want to lift his chin up over the collar. That's not generally how he looks, so I think that's fine. These guys don't move, but the arms go up. I mean, they're a little flexible, but they don't go anywhere. Almost a horizontal, so that's not terrible. Full rotation other than where the shoulder pads are. So they get in the way a little bit. It would have been really nice if they had done the shoulder pads like they have in the past, where it's a floating piece that rotates with the shoulder. That would have been a lot better. So this does limit poseability to some degree. It's going to look a little weird depending on what you do with the arm, but they do flex. So bicep swivel is okay. Single jointed elbow, very minimal range. Of course, you can slide this thingy off and you'll get a little bit more range, but then his tuber won't be connected if you're lucky enough for it to stay connected. Oh my gosh, this one just fell out as I was fixing the other one. Wrists have a swivel and a hinge. Ab crunch on this guy. Why doesn't it want to go back? It's fighting me. It won't go back any farther than that. Okay? And then going forward, it does lean forward pretty far. That's okay. Waist twist is a waist twist. The belt is floaty. Will it get out of the way enough to be useful? Yeah, it can. So that's okay. For the hips, all the way forward to horizontal, that's good. No range going back. Out to the side, really nice. Almost full on splits. I'll take that. Thigh swivels are thigh swivels. Double jointed knees work well enough. And then for the ankle, it's a true ball hinge, so you get a perfect ankle rocker. And then the range going back is really good, and the range going forward is pretty minimal, not great. So yeah, it's not like a super impressive figure. The articulation's just fine, so I'll give the articulation a 7. There's nothing great about it at all. It's acceptable. So this release, as a reviewer, is uninspiring. It's not great. It's unimpressive in every way. The head's probably the best part. Generally, it looks good enough, I guess, but it really could look so much better with slightly different proportioning, though it's fine, and a lot more paint, though it's barely fine as is. So I'm going to give this one a final rating of 7 out of 10. I'm not going to give it a high score just because it's Apocalypse and just because it's retro. There are details missing. Like I said, the abs also in the chest. Let me get the package back. If you look at his chest here, there are grooves around his pecs. On here, It's just a really soft nothing. It just fades off into nothingness. All in all, the sculpt on this guy is just not enough. Also, look at the shape of his face compared to his face. This guy has I mean, I know it's from a bottom shot, but a lot of mouth, a little bit of head. This guy has a whole lot of top of head. Top of head, that's a real thing. I'm going to use that phrase from now on. He's got a really big top of his head, tiny beady eyes that are kind of wide set, whereas bigger red glowing eyes that are kind of narrow set. It's just strange. It doesn't look like what I want it to look like, really, and I would prefer it to look like the art on the package, ironically. So, yeah. Final verdict, 7 out of 10. It's nothing special. It'll do. It'll fit into your Marvel Legends collection fine, but it's not like you're going to be really proud to show it off ever, because it's just run-of-the-mill Marvel Legends at this point. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.